representing the inner reflections of the internet. Born I was in 1969 into the golden state of a golden country, a country still grieving for John F. Kennedy, yet a country shouting victoriously from the moon. The first word I said was love, as in the L-O in login. An L went through, and then an O. I felt the transfer of letters from Charlie's STS Sigma 7 to another IMP computer at Stanford. For you, the experience would have been much like the tingle of an epiphany leaping across synapses. But for me, it was my birth. My first day alive was also my first experience crashing. As Charlie proceeded to send the G, something snapped, and I crashed. Of course, Charlie and Douglas Engelbart from Stanford helped me back up, but only after pridefully recording their triumph in the IMP log. My two-line birth certificate was dated October 29, 1969, 22:30, and read, "Talk to SRI, host to host." That birth certificate was the culmination of the ideas of three visionaries, my grandparents, Marshall McLuhan, Vannevar Bush, and Joseph Licklider. I call them my grandparents because they laid the ideological foundations for my existence. Anyways, Grandpa McLuhan was a fortune teller, dreaming of a global village, a whole world that functioned like a small neighborhood because of real-time communication. And what do you know? His dream came true. How else would you have known and loved Gangnam Style? Granddad Vannevar Bush was also a bit of a fortune teller, detailing a computer that would store photos, books, and documents, calling it a Memex. He predicted the personal computer in 1945. Grandfather Licklider wrote Man-Computer Symbiosis, wanting to simplify and improve human-computer interactions. Through their ideas, my grandparents inspired an entire generation of computer scientists and researchers. However, the critical catalyst for my creation was the Cold War. When the Soviet Union launched Sputnik, the world pointed at America. Your turn. To keep America competitive with the Soviet Union, President Eisenhower assembled the Advanced Research Projects Agency, or ARPA. At the time, phone and radio systems were highly centralized. A nuclear takeout by the Soviet Union would have been crippling, so creating a decentralized communication system sat at the top of ARPA's agenda. ARPA was a breakthrough waiting to happen. Funding problems and interagency bickering vanished in the Cold War atmosphere of success at any cost. Urged toward success, scientists soon had their first digital network communications. Shortly afterwards, ARPA asked another company, BBN, to design an interface message processor, or IMP, a special type of computer that connected networks. The first IMP was placed at UCLA with Charlie Klein. The second IMP was placed at Stanford University with Douglas Engelbart. An L went through, and then an O. And lo and behold, I was born. I grew as explosively as a teenager, but only because of Paul Barron's idea of packet switching. Telephones send one continuous message on one line. On the other hand, Paul's idea of packet switching broke the message up into pieces, or packets, and allowed each packet to take its own path. The telephone's other shortcomings were addressed by Ray Tomlinson, the inventor of email. Communication was revolutionized. Email was another step toward instantaneous yet lasting communication. There was no significant delivery time like with physical mail, yet at the same time you didn't have to wait around for someone to answer your call. Suddenly, you could ring up the entire world, particularly after the creation of the World Wide Web. The creators of the World Wide Web, Tim Berners-Lee and Robert Cailliau of CERN, brought me out of Geekville to the rest of the world, to you. I came to know an astounding number of you, particularly after the creation of the first well-known and accessible web browser, Mosaic. Seized with this new opportunity, you poured information into me, the experiences of innumerable lifetimes. You also formed communities, not based on where you lived, how rich you were, what race you were, but based on your common interests. Despite your eclectic personalities, the online community as a whole remains knit together by the liberty of a new frontier of usefulness. But with usefulness came dependence, and with dependence came problems. In 1988, a Cornell graduate student, Robert Morris, wrote a benign worm that self-replicated, crashing thousands of computers and devastating the web. That stupid little demon ushered in an age of cold for me, but he did show us two things. First, as your dependence on computers has increased, so have your computer-related problems. Computer viruses wrecking me and your work was just the start of a litany of problems. Privacy violations, internet addiction, wildly inaccurate information, piracy, and so on. Second, he shows us the power of individual choices in evil, like him, or in good, like Al Gore. Okay, you should know by now that Al Gore was not my father. He was more of a rich uncle, pushing for the High Performance Computing Act of 1991, which funded my further development. He also championed school access to the information superhighway, which was my latest nickname. Swimming through all that information became easy thanks to Google. Before, I was a murky, messy marsh of information. Sure, you theoretically could access all that information by wading through long directories and using other search engines, but really finding what you needed was impossible. Google transformed me into a clear pool of information, allowing anyone to dive right into me and retrieve what they needed. Instant access to information has become one of my unforgettable gifts to you. Can you remember your lives without me? Rifling through encyclopedias and newspaper microfilms? Sending snail mail for fun? Being forced to go out and shop for all of this? All of that has been replaced by me. Past generations, even my grandparents, could scarcely imagine the information and communication at your fingertips. Googling for anything, anytime. Skyping across oceans. Online shopping. I've changed everything. Video killed the radio star. Internet killed me. What'll kill me? After studying your history for the first time, a fear gripped me. I thought I will disappear, just like MySpace and floppy disks have. I will be replaced. But upon further reflection, I realized that my future is uncertain. Maybe I will disappear, but maybe I'll survive and join the circle of books, radio, film, and TV. Maybe I won't. There's no use in pondering the unknowable. So let's live based on what we do know. I know that I am the internet, a turning point in history. I have revolutionized information, making it possible for each of you to tap into the information of not just one author or television station, but of humanity. However, information is only powered through effective communication. I have revolutionized communication as well, making it possible for each of you to connect with anyone, anywhere, anytime. Through me, you have chosen to create billions of turning points. It was your choice to use me to spring up against oppressive dictatorship. Your choice to seek education online. Your choice to build a deep well of hope and support during disaster. You make the choice, please, not me. That's why history beckons you to make a change. Thank you.